Hi, and thanks for watching another instructional video for CSEI 1300. In this particular video, we will be covering the difference between initialized and uninitialized variables and how that can affect your C++ code. We'll also briefly cover the steps to compile to the terminal for the first time. In this particular example, we've declared some integers a, v, b, and x, and we have not initialized them to any base value. When we declare a variable, we are basically grabbing a chunk of the overall memory of the computer, and that memory chunk that we grab, that container that we've assigned to do something, could potentially contain information from a previous process that was being performed in the computer. So it is very important to initialize your variables when you declare them to some base value, so that you know what you're starting with. Otherwise, you could be starting with some kind of a junk leftover integer type or a variable type of some kind. Here we have declared a, v, b, and x. We have not assigned anything. And then we're going to print the information out to the screen to see what is currently stored in x, a, b, and v. We are then going to change the output of x and then print x. And then we are going to assign a the value of b plus the value of 5. So we're going to modify a and then print a after we do that. In order to compile this kind of code through the command line, you will type G++, which is the command to compile, followed by the name of the program that you wish to run. If you get one line that is empty on the next line, then you have compiled successfully. You did not get any errors. To execute the program, you will type /a.out unless you rename the file to some other file name. And you can see here that when we print lines 10 through 13, we are printing the contents of our declared variables a, v, b, and x in the order x, a, b, v. And you can see here that x is set to a very large negative number when we print it the first time. Then, when we print a, we get the value of 32,767. Now, notice here on line 17 that we modify x to equal 5. So we've reinitialized x to some value of 5. Actually, in this case, we've actually initialized x for the first time. Here, when we're printing this information, this was a piece of junk that was coming from a previous process in the computer. We don't know what this is associated with because we didn't assign it to x. We do assign the value of 5 to x, so we initialize x here for the first time. We then print the contents of x on line 18, which you can see here, and that is what is getting printed here to the screen. We then take the value of a and set it equal to b plus 5. So we're overwriting the value of a by taking the contents of b and then adding 5 to it. So notice here that b is assigned the value of 0. A is equal to 0 plus 5 because b is equal to 0. So a will then have the contents of 5. So that's why we're getting this information back from the screen. And lastly, just as a side note, the /ins that you see here are new lines. When I use cout indel, ENDL, I'm printing a new line character in the same fashion, but with a different terminology. Thanks for watching, and happy coding!